This is part 2 on government records. In this video, we'll show you more examples of government records and how to find at least the husband and wife and how to search through some of the records. Family Search Wiki states, marriage bonds are written guarantees or promises of payment made by the groom or another person, often a relative of the bride, to ensure that a forthcoming marriage would be legal. The person who posted the bond was known as the surety or bondsman. The bond was presented to the minister or official who would perform the ceremony. The bond was then returned to the town or county clerk. These documents were frequently used in the southern and middle Atlantic states up to the mid-1800s. This image is of an index of marriage bonds in Pennsylvania, Virginia. This index doesn't give much information, but it's easier to read than the actual bond records. Here's a copy of an actual bond. This is a bond for my great-grandparents John Skaggs and Edna Ennis. John Skaggs and George Pruitt were the bondsmen. Death records don't give you a marriage place or date, but they often will give the spouse's name. In this example, it shows that John was married and his wife is Elizabeth Rainier. This is a death record for Mrs. Maria Knabb. Gives her husband as J.W. Knabb. An extra bonus is that it gives her father Hugh Brown and her mother Carolina Rollerson. We may not get marriage dates and places from these death records, but we do have proof of 2 marriages from this one. Here is a will of Frank Karsher. I will have more videos on wills later on, but usually the first thing mentioned is that their debts are paid. The second thing is often bequeathing belongings to the wife. In this case, Frank gives to his beloved wife, Annie. We learn from this will that Frank was married to Annie. Of course, we don't get dates or times or places, but we do know that they were married. This is a will of Robert Boyles. He first bequeathed possessions to his oldest daughter, Ina L. Boyles. He then gives to his daughter, Myrta G. Boyles. This record lets us know that Robert was married as he was giving possessions to his children. It appears that his wife has died previous to Robert's death. If we can find the birth date of his daughter, Ina, you can estimate that the marriage was about 1 or 2 years previous to her birth, since she was the oldest child. We also learn that neither of his daughters are married by the time their father and mother have passed away. This is the will of Thomas Smiles. He gives to his sister Jane Wilson and then to his brother Jacob Smiles. It is most likely that Thomas Smiles never married, since he is willing his belongings to his siblings. We do learn that his sister Jane is married and her last name is Wilson. This is an index to land deeds. This is for Thompson's deeding property to someone else. On this record, it gives WF in parentheses, meaning wife. First, we see Washington and his wife, Jinsey. Second is Daniel and his wife, Lydia. Third is George Jr. and his wife, Sarah Luck. This one shows that George had died long enough for Sarah to remarry to someone with the name of Luck. She must be a lucky lady. This is an actual deed. It isn't as easy to read as the index to the deeds. Here we have David Thompson and Mary, his wife, deeding property to John Kesey. This is a hard record to read, but it states, Mary Craddock, allotment of the estate of John Craddock, deceased. I will eventually do a few videos on these types of court records. Like death records, you don't find out marriage date or place, but in many instances you can find out the husband and wife. In this case, Mary is the widow of John Craddock. From an indexed record, we learn that Mary's maiden name was Hendricks, and that she and John were married on the 12th of September, 1781 in Pennsylvania, Virginia. You never know where you will find proof of a marriage. Many of these records will only give you proof of who the spouse was. That is better than not having any record at all. Just remember that it isn't just marriage certificates that are not the only government source that can give you information on a marriage. Okay, I'm going to show you how to navigate to marriage records in Family Search. One of the ways, there's more than one way. So I'm going to go to Search, Records, and just down here I'm going to say Marriage. And I'm going to just click on this first one, Alabama. And notice here, not all of them have this Browse Records, but this one does. I'm going to show you two ways with this, but I'm going to say open the link in another tab. And I'm going to click on this one. Okay, and this brings us to this film here. And up here it tells you that it's Alabama County Marriages from 1809 to 1950, and there's your film number. We're on image 1 of 904. I'm going to iconify this and skip these first pages and go to here. And so this tells you the last name Archer George W. to M.E. Ray, and I can't read the page on that. But I'm going to go to, here's number 9, page 9. So, and here's another one, page 4. So let's try to, I just want to show you, so the first few pages are indexes. It looks like this is the beginning of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's try it. And there is page 9. So now we're going to look for Bailey. If that's it was, there's William G. Bailey to Mary A. Morris. Okay, this is a marriage license. And there we have W.G. Bailey and Mary A. Morris. And given under my hand, so it looks like this is also a statement that they were married. And this is who married them, a probate judge, and it was the 10th day of October, 1860, I think that's 7. So that's kind of how you get around on these records. Now this one was indexed, so let's leave that up and let's just go up here, and I think it was W.G. Bailey. And I haven't tried this before. We'll see. Let's try Morris. I think that was what her last name was. Let's look again. Morris, Mary A. Okay, and let's search and see if it finds them. There it is, 1867, it says in Jones, and this record is actually attached. So you could click here, and it would tell you that it's attached to William Green Bailey. You can, I'm going to click off of this. This is the indexed view of it. Okay, and then you can click here to view the actual record. Or you could click this little camera right here. So that is one of the ways. The other way to search is through the catalogs, or through the catalog, the Salt Lake City catalog, and we're going to say online, and we have to put something in here. Let's put Alabama. That was Jones County, so let's do Jones County, Alabama. There it is right there. Search. And I should have done this before. Let's see, Covington, let's just choose that county. And down here it'll be vital records. Let's see if they have any. There's marriage records for Alabama. So you look for the counties and look for the marriage records. Sometimes you can find them on the state level, but you're going to more likely find them in the county. So hopefully that helps you in searching for the records to look for them, and then the challenge is actually looking through them. Some of them are indexed, some of them are not. So on this one you would just click here, and then it says click here to see the online, and here we have this browse the images, and it kind of takes us back to where we were. Hopefully that was helpful. Happy hunting!